Kim here with Little Biz Resources, and today let's go over the new Etsy Share and Save program. My argument is that this program is better for Etsy than it is you, but that doesn't mean that you should necessarily ignore it or avoid it. So let's dive in and take a look at this. So the Etsy Share and Save program, if you are unfamiliar with it, it's new with Etsy. If you've been back into your shop, you'll probably have been notified of it. But what it is if you share your unique link that they've provided for you, and there's specific links to do this with, then you have the potential to get a 4% refund on your transaction fees. So transaction fees are at 6.5% in the United States, and 4% of that, of course, would reduce the transaction fees to 2.5%. Sounds great, especially if you do a lot of sales, like my sister does, right? But the problem is that there are too many factors involved on how Etsy can essentially avoid or ignore or just not honor that 4%. So let's look at this here. So this is in my shop. This is my newer shop that I'm working on right now. It has a unique link right here. This is my shop URL link or the shop referral link. I can copy this. I can save it anywhere. Now, before we dive into where the other links are, let me show you some of the share and save terms. And this is why I think that this is better for Etsy than it is for you. It goes through in here a lot of different things, what the program is and everything. Talks about the 4% that is part of the, 4% of the qualifying transaction total. It talks about that and it says what a qualified transaction is. The URLs here are unique shop URL, unique listing URL, and unique shop section URL. And somebody else mentioned reviews, but that's not here. So I don't know if there's actually a review option yet or if it's coming or what. But this one is qualifying transactions. Now, qualifying transactions are you share the link somewhere, somebody clicks on it, and if they buy within 30 days, then you receive the refund. Now, if within the 30 days after they click the URL, the buyer also visits your shop via an Etsy offsite ad, okay, then the transaction is no longer qualifying, and you get charged the offsite ads fee. So that's the 12% or the 15%. I put together this image to help explain how this works. So for the sake of argument, let's just say you do a Pinterest pin. Now, the Pinterest pin, you've created it manually, and I'll show you why you have to create it manually, and I'll show you where the links are as well. You create the pin, then your customer, they click that link. Now, that goes to your shop. It's your Etsy shop, your unique URL that you provided that Etsy said, hey, if you push this out there, we'll give you 4% back. If they buy, so this is the green arrows, if they buy within 30 days and they don't click any other links, then you get 4% of the transaction fees, which means you're only paying 2.5% of transaction fees. Again, sounds wonderful. Run those numbers to see if you're selling a $10 item, then is it really, and it might be worth it. If you're selling a dollar item, so sure, right? Now, if they don't purchase and Etsy's not going to just say, well, you didn't purchase. That's okay. We'll see you next time you click somebody's link and come here. No, they do something called retargeting ads. So now that somebody has visited their site, they go, well, we know they're interested in it. And we know it takes 4, 5, 6, 10 times, just depends on what article you read, to convert somebody into a customer. So we're going to go ahead and retarget them. Now, retargeting ads or remarketing ads, different platforms call them different things. They are one of the least expensive ads that anybody can run. And especially Etsy, because Etsy has such a massive database that undoubtedly their algorithms have narrowed this down significantly. So they're going to then get charged pennies a click to retarget these people. Even if they retarget them for, I don't know, 10 cents. And let's say they now click on this link. Now this person clicks on the retargeting link. You do not get the 4%, right? And you'll notice that I added another arrow in here. Even if they do buy, they're going to retarget them again later. And if they buy from you again, then you're going to get charged for the marketing fees and you do not get that 4% refund. So you are doing all of the work up front. You're doing all of this work up front to send traffic to your listings. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you already know I have an issue with marketing to your listings in the first place. And that's because Etsy has done this thing where if you come in from Pinterest, you have like a 50-50 shot of having other people's listings put above your products on the listing, which is just silly. If I'm paying 20 cents a listing, I shouldn't have to have other people's products on my listing ever. So I haven't tested that recently. Maybe they've changed it. I doubt it. But this is where Etsy is going to make so much more money than that 4% because you are bringing in customers. You're giving them the opportunity to retarget and charge you. So you are now providing your link to have them come into your shop where they click your link, but maybe they don't buy. Etsy retargets them to basically override your link. And now they get to charge you the 12 or 15%, and they don't have to give you the 4%. So this is why I say this is better for Etsy than it is for you, right? And I really want to love Etsy. My sister loves Etsy or loved it. She's really upset with them lately too. They've been doing some horrible things. They should reward people who are doing the effort, right? If you're already manually linking to your listings and you're not automating like I teach, then this is worth it, right? This is worth it. But if you're not driving enough traffic manually, then you're putting a lot of effort in to get traffic to a listing that you may not actually see the 4%. So you have to run the numbers. I don't see a disadvantage to it other than, it's obviously better for Etsy. This is a huge plug for them to have you drive traffic for them. But should you not do it? I don't think so. I think that if you might as well opt in, and at least if you're going to manually share the links, you at least potentially benefit sometimes on some transactions, right? So let's take a look back at the shop and we'll see where we can find the different links. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is my new shop, so be impressed with my 6 orders. And this is the first link you're going to see is your shop URL. And you've always had this shop URL. It's just now they're using that to be the referral link. So in this case, my shop is called Flannel Remnants. I know, super unique, but flannelremnants.etsy.com. I was actually surprised it was available. So I can share this link and it would go to my store, which I don't even think I've optimized this. So let me show you. It would go here, right? So I still need some stuff. So I've made sales and not everything set up, right? And then you have the listings, the default listings. So I don't have a banner. I don't have like featured. I don't have any of that right now. But if you have all that set up and you think that, oh yeah, this is a good way to drive traffic, it's good. You want to drive traffic to as many places as possible. The difference between, like, if I'm sending an email out, I probably just send it generally to my shop or to a shop section. I don't have sections on here. I just have all. Shop sections, as I think I mentioned earlier, that they may or may not work on desktop. I haven't seen it on the capability on desktop, so I assume it's just mobile. Now, again, it would be beneficial to do that if you are like sending out saying, hey, this particular section is completely on sale. Here's the link, right? That would still get that. So now let's look at listings though. So if I'm in my shop manager, I go into listings and I can come into any of the listings. And you're like, whoa, mine doesn't look like that. You can toggle to see different ways to do this, right? And over here, this toggle. So you can come to right here and you see this share, and save. And if you click it, you can share it on Facebook, you can save it to Pinterest, and you can tweet it. This is all manual, okay? So I can save this directly to Pinterest, which I'm not logged in here. So I could save this directly and just say, okay, I'm going to save it and do that. And that's a semi non-manual way to place it on Pinterest. That's a really good way. One thing I should mention. So Pinterest does not like you listing multiple pins, the same pin multiple times in one board. And in fact, I think ultimately, if you have the same pin like 50 times in 50 boards, they don't like that either. There is some leniency for timing. There are no hard and fast rules. Pinterest just decides when you're spamming, but you can just copy this link as well. So you can put it on Facebook, you can save it, you can tweet it, and you can copy it. Again, these are semi-automated because you just get to click and share, right? Still not automated. The way I teach how to do it is you take your feed and you put it into automation so that it'll just automatically post. In that case, you're not doing any extra work. So again, if you're selling a 99-cent item, a $1.25 item, I mean, what do we say if it's $1.25 and the transaction fees are 6.5%? So you're looking at 8 cents. And if you're doing that for every single listing, unless you're getting a lot of people through those, 8 cents isn't worth it. But if you have, let's see, I've got a $7.59. See if it's worth it. 0.06, and that was 8 cents. So you're actually not going to even get 8 cents back. You're going to get 0.04. So in this case, I would get 30 cents back. So I'd basically cover my listing fees. I mean, again, if I'm going to do it, if I need to drive the traffic and I'm doing it manually, might as well. But for me, I'm going to do both automation and manual because there's benefits to both. Again, if you're doing Pinterest or you're doing, it says tweet. I don't think Twitter's still tweeting anymore, but who knows? So that's the other spot. Those are the two main ones that you're going to use. Again, this is the Etsy seller app. Now, I created some sections specifically for you, and you can get your links if you're in the app. This is on a Samsung, by the way, so Apple probably looks a little different. There's a link right here for the shop, the actual whole shop. And then if you want to go to sections, you go to listings, and then you'll see that there's sections here, and I don't have anything in that one, but we'll click into unicorns and mermaids. And this is the link for that. So let me see how that looks. So you'll see flannelremnants.etsy.com. That's the actual shop name. And then it has a question mark, which is their version of a referral type thing. And then section ID is such and such. So this is the URL that you could use to send them directly to your section within the shop, right? And I interchanged those words, so I apologize if I said it wrong earlier. But that's how you do that one. Now, supposedly, again, there's supposed to be an option for reviews, but reviews. You can now customize and share reviews on social. So let's do that. And these are reviews. We can say share review, and you can customize this, it looks like. And then we could add photos, resize. Let's resize it. And of course, I'm doing this on my phone. It's interesting. So you could, Instagram Square. Let's do it like that. Instagram, this is kind of interesting. That's a Pinterest square pin. So we'll just leave it like that one. Next. And then we don't have any text color. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so we'll just make it green and then we'll say next. And now this is what it looks like. And then copy the shop link, copy the listing link. So one of these, you can either send it back to the listing, which I think it might be sold out, but copy the shop link is probably better for those who have products that sell out. So that's how you can get, we'll actually look at that. Copy that, go here, and it's just taking it to the regular shop link. So again, I mean, it seems to be that even though you can use reviews, you can't actually link from a review like somebody else had mentioned. So at least we figured that out, right? And you got your section IDs. We can look and see real quick if we can do it on desktop, and then we will hop into showing you some ways to manually share that. Here I am, I'm in the listings. I actually narrowed it down to a specific section. I don't see any options for a link. So you just have to either use the ID that they give you, because they have section ID right here. So you could take the same, if you just want to take the section ID and use the same formula, you just put the shop name.etsy.com !section _ID equals, and then put the ID in there. That's all you have to do. And then you could just make your own if you don't want to use the mobile device. So very simple, very easy to do that if you want to do that. Now, again, if you are not already doing manually and it's not worth your time, so think about the return you're going to get. Let's say out of maybe 20 sales, you might see 2 returns if you're lucky. And it just depends on your audience, right? If you have an audience, you have an email list built up, you might see a higher. If you don't have an email list built up and you're going off of social media, it's probably going to be lower. So those are just some things to consider. Now let's go into Pinterest. I'm going to go into my other Etsy shop, just because this is connected to this one. And I want to go to my listings. Now, I showed you that before you can just pin stuff, right? So a lot of this stuff is already pinned Pinterest already. So I'm going to create a new board. So I'm going to Pinterest. I'm going to create a new board. Saved. And I'm going to create a new board. And I'm going to say Kim's Etsy shop. Because I changed my Pinterest profile to Easton Twins. So it's both me and my sister. So I have both of us putting our stuff on here. And I put both of our things on. It's still my account. And I'm going to say create. And I'm going to say done for right now because all I needed was the actual board. So now I'm going to come in. I'm going to just select that one. I'm going to say, oh, this one has 13 in stock. I should probably save it to Pinterest. And I'm going to show you in a minute where you can see the URL. Now, one thing about Pinterest, if you already have, and I may have already mentioned this, sorry. If you have an existing pin, you can't change the URL. So you just have to create a new pin. This pin is identical because it's coming from Etsy. It's identical to the ones that are already on there. So you just want to make sure you're in a new board if it's the exact same. If you're creating a whole new image and then using the link, you can put it wherever you want. Let's go to Kim's Etsy shop and I'm going to say save. I want to see the pin. It's pulling in the same information. So this is going to look exactly like the one that's in there. And I can now go in there, but it was pretty simple, right? And this one is craftytwinsfabric.etsy.com. That's my normal shop. And that's the link, right? So this redirects to etsy.com/listing. That's the one that's redirecting to. So even though it shows up like this, you can see that this one says the source code is Pinterest, listing manager, etc. So they know they're tracking that this was a link that you did. That was your unique link. So they are able to track that. So I just want to show you that so you can see that is relatively easy. But if you want to create unique pins or new pins, then you would just need to come into create. We're going to create the pin. And for this is where you would put the link, right? You would put in either this link or you would put in the listing link. And you would just put that in there, the custom one. So if I wanted to do, like I have this link, so I'll just copy it. And then I'll put it here. Now, Pinterest may not keep all of this. We don't know. Pinterest does whatever they want. So you can publish immediately, you can schedule. There is another way to do this as well if you want to schedule out a bunch. If you don't want to do it through Pinterest, I use something called Publer. I'll talk about Publer another time because this is already going long enough. But I want to show you how easy it is to share your unique link. Again, you're doing most of the work and Etsy's definitely benefiting more than you are. But if you need traffic or you're doing manual marketing anyway, this is an excellent way to maybe recover a little bit of money, especially during the holidays coming up. So if you have questions, you run into some problems, this is still new. I mean, they're doing the webinar on like the 21st. This is still new. Hop into Little Biz Resources Facebook group. If you have questions, need help, you want additional guidance, post in there. It's nobody ever posts any questions. So hop in there, ask a question, and I will do my best to answer it. So I will see you next time.